So, good morning, happy Monday, people, and I hope you all have a wonderful week at work, at college, at uni, whatever it is you're doing. I hope you all have a great time. Today we're going to speak about quite a few players actually. We'll start off with an update on Kieran Tierney. Anybody who watched my stream yesterday, press mute on this for the next couple of minutes, so I'll be repeating myself. But we have had a second bid rejected for him. We put a first bid in for around the £15.5 million barrier. We then went back in with a second bid believed to be about 19 to 19.5 million. That was swiftly rejected as well. Now, Celtic fans were in a little bit of meltdown on Saturday evening as it emerged that Kieran Tierney was actually in London. Now, was he there just as a day tripper? Was he there to do negotiations on a deal to Arsenal? Who knows? We weren't there. We will not know. What we do know is that Arsenal are going to go back in for a third bid. And this time it's going to be over the £20 million barrier. Now, Celtic said to believe, I can't even speak this morning, Jesus Christ, I need another hour's kip. Celtic are meant to be asking for around £25 million for him. Now, personally, I don't think he'll go for £25 million. I think that we'll get him a little bit cheaper than that. But there's two ways you could look at this. Go in and pay the 25 million, get the player, job done. That's one off the list. We need defensive quality. We've seen last season, shipping 51 goals, that we just can't defend. We're not good enough defensively. Now, this guy not only can defend, but offensively, his output is ridiculous for a left back. Now, the game's going more down that road of left backs and right backs, left wing backs, right wing backs, basically becoming the creators of the team. It's going away from the old days of, or the recent times of having a number 10 and trying to play through that player. Now, obviously, we've seen at Liverpool, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, they've both created so many goals for their strikers this season. And that's the way football's going now. Man City are the same. Quick wingers, quick left back, quick right back. And that's how the game's evolved and adapted now. Now, we've been left behind, really, because we haven't got any decent left back. I don't think Kolasinac's good enough in that role, especially defensively. Bellerin's been injured. We haven't got any wingers. So we've shoehorned Alex Iwobi to play left wing this season. Now, Reece Nelson's coming back. He signed a new deal with us before he left to go to Hoffenheim. And hopefully we see the best of him. We see him in the team and hopefully we go and sign a winger. But for now, it does look like the reports that came out last week of Emery making Tierney his number one left-back choice do look true. Even David Ornstein tweeted it out that we had bid for him. Now, he doesn't normally tweet stuff out unless he knows concrete evidence is backing that up. So I do believe we are in for Tierney. I do believe we will get him. How much, I'm not too sure. But I do think at the end of this transfer window, Kieran Tierney will be an Arsenal player. And do you know what? I'll be over the moon. Now, we move on to an update from a guy called Gjorgjievski. Yes, I did pronounce that correctly, I think, from all the people in the comment section telling me how to pronounce it. Now, we had a £9 million bid rejected for the Salzburg midfielder last week. Now, they've said that we need to get to around £15 million. We're said to be going back in with a second bid for him as well this week. Now, we shall wait and see if that does happen. But again, this is another young, up-and-coming prospect. I've been told from people who've watched him that he's a fantastic player and he's got every attribute to succeed in the Premier League. Whether that comes to fruition, I don't know. We shall see. We'll keep our eyes on that one and watch and see what happens. But for the sake of another £6 million, we could have him boxed off. We could have Tierney boxed off. And all of a sudden, we've plugged two holes that needed plugging. Now all we need is to go and get some centre-backs into the club. But we shall see what happens there. Now, another player that is linked to Arsenal today is a guy called Aribo. Joe Aribo. And he is a Charlton midfielder. Now, Lee Bowyer, their manager, has had this to say about him. He said, by the way, he scored 10 goals and scored 39. I can't even speak. Why am I doing this video? He played 39 games last season and scored 10 goals. I will get there in the end. But they're going to try and get some sort of compensation for him. He's out of contract at the end of this month. So his contract is up. He's had offers from everywhere as well. Lee Bowyer said this about him. The difficult thing is he's had such a good season. This was his first full season and he has come on and improved so much. This is what he was saying to TalkSport yesterday. For me, he needs to stay and learn more here. There are points of his game that he needs to improve on. He knows that, I know that, and we've had a conversation. But the hard thing is that we have a budget. There are other clubs interested in him. We can't deny that. And they're going to blow us out of the water to what we can offer him. We can't fight against that at the end of the day. We have a budget and it is what it is. It's going to be tough to keep him. If it had been clubs from at our level or Championship or even League One trying to get him, then yes, he could have stayed with us. But there are Premier League clubs in for him, and in Scotland, Rangers are interested in him as well. There are also clubs in France and Germany interested in him, so there is tough competition to fight against. But if the Premier League comes in for him with the financial side of things and playing side, to play with top players, it's a tough thing for a young kid to turn down. Now, there you go. That kid, he is a good kid. He is a good player. Can he make that step up from League One to Premier League? Well, there's a lot of Premier League clubs in for him. You've heard it from the manager's mouth. So I don't know. There's a club out there willing to take that risk. Is that club Arsenal? I'm not so sure. I don't know, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know enough about the kid to say whether he'd be good enough. But one thing I do know is it's not an easy step up from League One to Premier League. Now, maybe he could come in, he could be a bit part player coming off the bench and stuff like that. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Guendouzi step up from a very low down the table league and come into the Premier League and take to it like a duck to water. Yes, he's not without his flaws and mistakes and stuff like that, but he stepped up. So could Aribo step up? Who knows? We shall see, and we shall watch what happens. Like I said, his contract expires at the end of this month, which I believe is Sunday. So yeah, 30th of June, his contract's up. We shall know more probably next week on this one. There's obviously no fee attached to him. He's a free signing. It's right up Arsenal Street, I suppose, if you look at it like that. He's 22. He won't be commanding massive wages, but he does have a hell of a lot of clubs in for him. So there could be a bidding war in terms of bonuses and wages. So we shall see. Now, last but by no means least, it feels like I am on Daily Transfer Update number 1 back in May. And this is Wilfried Zaha. Now, Unai Emery is reportedly going to be asking if we can go and purchase Wilfried Zaha. That's the reports going around today. They value him, Crystal Palace, at £55 million. I don't value him anywhere near that. I don't think he has a big enough output in terms of goals and assists to warrant a £55 million price tag. I don't personally want him, if I'm being completely honest. I think we could get a better quality of player for cheaper money. Not that it's my money, so I don't really care about the money side of it. But at the end of the day, I don't get the hype. I never have with Wilfried Zaha. He always turns up against us because he knows we're defensively crap. So he knows he can have a go at us and we just flake and fall apart. But apparently we are going to be actively trying to go and get him. Now, I know that will make a lot of the fan base happy. I know a lot of people do rate Wilfried Zaha. And listen, I don't dislike him. I just don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. Like I said, he only really turns up against us. And he does stand out for Palace, but that's because he is their best player. The rest of the players in the team aren't as good as him. But that doesn't mean he's that great. I don't really see it. But you guys may differ on that. If you do, leave it in the comment section down below. On all of the players, Tierney, Aribo, Gjorgjievski, and obviously Wilfried Zaha. And let me know if you think he's worth the £55 million. The fact that this story's come out would suggest that our budget's going to be a little bit higher than the 40 million originally reported. There was reports going around yesterday and Saturday that the budget was actually over £80 million. So I don't know. We will see at the end of the transfer window what the actual budget was when we net it down into the net spend this summer. Don't forget also, I will be back, excuse me, at 5 o'clock this evening and at 9 o'clock this evening. I'll be doing a couple more live streams. Turn your notification bell on, turn notifications on YouTube on your phone more importantly, otherwise you won't get them. Subscribe if you're new, and I think I'm going to go back to bed for an hour. Laters, peeps.